Good evening, Colorado and the Rocky Mountain Mile High region. What is up? It is Denver Sports Tonight. It is Cecil Lammey getting ready for the All-Star road trip and getting ready to talk about Jim Harbaugh to the Chargers. A bad day in Broncos country because Jim Harbaugh is here to make the Chargers into the contenders that they truly should be because they have a superstar quarterback in Justin Herbert. I think he drafts J.J. McCarthy. That's for a later conversation. Let's put a pin in that. But Jim Harbaugh into the AFC West. And you know who I really feel bad for tonight? I feel bad for Broncos country and Broncos ownership. Yeah, that's true. I feel bad for Broncos ownership because that was their choice. They flew out to Michigan twice to try to get Jim Harbaugh. And he said no, he wins a national title. Now he says yes to the NFL. He gets all the power. It's painful. It's ironic. I don't want to say necessarily it's tragic. There's true tragedy in this world. We're talking sports. We're playing in the sandbox. But I look at this situation as now are the Broncos fourth in the AFC West? You have to deal in your own neighborhood first, right? It's location, location, location. You're in the AFC West. Now, Andy Reid might retire if the Chiefs win the Super Bowl. There are rumblings about Andy Reid doing that. Again, I'm leaving for the All-Star road trip tomorrow. I'm going to be talking to scouts. I already got dinners lined up with scouts, executives, etc. So I'm going to be talking to everybody. I'm going to find out the inside information and bring it back to you right here on The Fan, denversports.com as well. And, I'm going to figure out a little bit more of what could be happening this offseason. But if Kansas City wins yet another Super Bowl with Andy Reid as their head coach, he's likely to retire. So that would change the landscape right there. Travis Kelce retiring after this year seems like a given almost. That would change the landscape of the AFC West. But as we sit right now, and I understand the Chargers choke, but you get Jim Harbaugh, you give him Justin Herbert, you give him pretty much total control over the roster. That team can compete for a Super Bowl in a year, like right now. Not even in 1 year. It's not like he has to get his feet wet. He's jumping back into the National Football League. He's doing it with the Chargers, and he could have done it here. Honestly, you know what could have happened with Jim Harbaugh? This really stings. You ready for this, KJ? Jim Harbaugh could have made Russell Wilson work. You know how I know that? Because he chose Colin Kaepernick over Alex Smith. Alex Smith was a more advanced passer than Colin Kaepernick, but Kaepernick could run, make two reads, high-low, and then take off to run. And when Alex Smith was banged up, Kaepernick comes in, that team makes a run at the Super Bowl. They're one pass away from beating Baltimore in that stupid Super Bowl in New Orleans where the power went out. So what he did with Kaepernick, and Kaepernick never really progressed as a passer. He was always a see-it-throw-it guy, and he was always like they do that drag route all the time. And it's like, okay, give him a drag route, give him a high-low, take off to run. Yeah, They went to the Super Bowl doing that. Russell Wilson could still be the Broncos quarterback had Jim Harbaugh taken this job this last year instead of Sean Payton. You went in bed with Sean Payton, and listen, I am a Payton guy because this is the coach. You can't fight against that. Oh, he's a tyrant. Oh, he's this. Yeah. Oh, he's going to get rid of Russ. Yeah, okay, yeah. It's all about fit. He doesn't fit. But the best thing for the Broncos would have been for Jim Harbaugh to be your head coach because he could have made Russell Wilson work. Harbaugh has a system where you can take someone who is like Russ, where he plays within chaos, and he can make it work. It's not like Kaepernick was back there dicing up defenses, okay? Again, bootleg, roll out, high-low read, take off to run. And that's what worked all the way to the Super Bowl. Could have been a Super Bowl championship, another one for the San Francisco 49ers. And Russell Wilson is more advanced as a passer than Colin Kaepernick ever was. So you give Jim Harbaugh, Russell Wilson, you know what we're talking about right now? We're talking about a playoff run for the Broncos. Oh, they just lost to the Baltimore Ravens in the divisional round, right? The Broncos would have just stopped playing. I promised myself I wouldn't yell. I was even going to promise my man Zach bye. So Zach, I apologize, Birdman, brother. Like, I get fired up about this stuff, okay? Because the best thing, I just commented to this, somebody on YouTube said it. By the way, somebody on YouTube was making fun of my hair. The dude was bald. I was like, dude, come on. You can't, come on. You got to rock some, you got to have some lettuce if you're going to make fun of my lettuce, brother. But either way, exactly. Thank you, MJ. But like, I look at it and I go, wait a second. The best thing for the Broncos would have been to work out with Russell Wilson. You're paying him too much money. The best thing would have been for Let's Ride to be a thing. Not something we make fun of. We make fun of Let's Ride all the time. Like, it has become a gag. It has become a meme. It has become, you know, what you say to make fun of the Denver Broncos. Let's hide. It would have been epic with Jim Harbaugh and Russell Wilson. I have zero doubt in my mind, because when Kaepernick took over for Alex Smith got healthy that year. It's not like Alex Smith was done for the year. Alex Smith, number 1 overall pick, advanced passer, got healthy that year, and he stayed with Kaepernick. And Kaepernick was not as advanced as Russell Wilson is as a passer, both of them kind of chaos quarterbacks. And both of them see it, throw it type of guys. Okay, fine. I've said it before. And yes, the Broncos are going to move on from Russell Wilson. Can we just get started with that? Can we get off of that? I still fight with some fans out there. I don't fight. You're not supposed to engage trolls. I don't anyway. When Stink does, I think it's funny, right? Because it's Mark Schlereth. You know what I mean? What are you going to say? It's Mark Schlereth. He's the best, baby. Are you kidding me? But it's like, I don't ever engage with trolls. Why? I don't have time. I run a comic book company. I have 2 jobs. You think I have time to argue with some troll on Twitter? Like, no. You don't have to worry about me. Corporate, I don't need an email about it. But like, listen. They're not going to keep Russell Wilson, but damn it, if they had had Jim Harbaugh, Russ would have been a Pro Bowler. If they had had Jim Harbaugh this year instead of Sean Payton, Russ would have been a Pro Bowler. They would have been in the playoffs. They probably would have won a wild card game. Oh, Baltimore gets them, because guess what? Spoiler alert. Baltimore's going to get you. Baltimore's going to get you. My man Luke is listening right now, big Chiefs fan. Sorry, Luke. Baltimore's going to get you. They're going to get you. They're going to get everybody. I think Baltimore wins it all. And I hate the Ratbirds. I mean, I hate them. But I don't see how you stop them unless Lamar Jackson gets banged up. And Lord knows no one wants that, because Lamar Jackson is a godsend from the football gods. Thank you, Ozzie Newsome. If you're the Broncos, it just keeps getting worse. You're trying to set this thing right. You're trying to correct the mistakes. And I'm not going to blame John Elway. Lord knows I love John. I want to still go have a couple of cold pops with you at your steakhouse. I'm still waiting for that phone call. So, yeah, I love John Elway. I make no bones about it. Whatever. You love John. You blow bubbles at John. Yeah, he's the greatest quarterback of all time, my opinion. I'm going to blame this on the trust, though. Sorry, again, I've said it before. I like Joe Ellis. I like him a lot. You can't pretend to be an owner. And I'm not saying Joe was pretending to be the owner. He was doing what he felt was best for the trust. The trust was in place to make sure that the trust stayed in place. Like, it just was what it was, okay? It sucks. I love Mr. Bolin. Anytime I got a chat with Mr. Bolin, and it was brief. You know, it's not like I spent a bunch of time with him, like Elway did or anybody from back in the day, my man Mike Pritchard, etc. But like, okay, it is just, again, what do I always say? The truth. The truth is that what it is. The truth is the trust ruined this team. Does that hurt? Yeah, but the truth isn't meant to make you feel good. The truth is that what it is. The trust ruined this team. The trust put this team in the position that it's in. I believe in Greg Penner. I believe in the Walton Penner Group. I believe they'll turn things around, but damn it, things start stacking up. You've been down too long. And now you try. I mean, put that billionaire push try. You telling me the Walton Penner Group didn't try? That's with the B, baby. Multiple B's. The most B's of any owner in the National Football League. They put the full court press on Jim Harbaugh, and they couldn't seal the deal. And now he's in your neighborhood. But imagine Jim Harbaugh with Russell Wilson. And I've said it on these airwaves. Russell Wilson can still be special in moments. You got to set up those moments. Russ wants to do this chaos thing all the time. Russ, if I had a private audience with Russ, I'd tell him a couple things. First off, sorry for saying you'd back up Tim Tebow in Denver. I apologize. Although he did puff up to me, which was so funny. The second thing I would tell Russ, get rid of Team 3. Team 3 is god-awful. Every single one of them. Okay, social media, hey, here's Russ working out. Oh, Team 3 gear, buy it now. Your brand is not more important than your team. Than this game. No one in the history of the National Football League is larger than this game, which players fight for, players bleed for. This game. This game is more important than that. Team 3, whatever, dude. Team 3 sucks, okay? It sucked away any sort of goodwill that you had with Broncos country, and they suck now. Trying to strong-arm the Denver Broncos. So that's the second thing I'd tell Russ. The third thing I'd tell Russ, dude, you have to wait for your moment. It's just like I would tell Josh Allen. Josh Allen's out there trying to make every throw a touchdown, and Stephon Diggs is dropping every throw. Hey, Josh, you don't have to do everything, baby. Baby, it's okay. It's okay. You don't have to do everything. Maybe not go to those Deion Dawkins parties as much. Spoiler alert. But okay, you can have other people do stuff. James Cook's pretty good guy. Kind of want to get him the ball. I would tell Russell Wilson the same thing. You don't have to do everything. There's going to be moments, and they are unwritten moments. They are unspoken moments where it's 3rd and 8. It's 3rd and 18. I should say 3rd and 17. It's 3rd and long. Broncos are down by 4 points. Time is winding down. There's no timeouts left. That's when Russ can be special. You have to set up those moments. They have to happen organically. If Russ is out there trying to run around, I can make a play, guys. I'm the best, guys. Dude, you're not that good anymore. But you can still be special in moments. And you know who would have set him up for success? Jim. KJ, get the dump button ready, please. Jim blankety-blank Harbaugh. I almost cussed. Seriously. And I'm sorry. I know Amanda's listening. She's like, why in the hell do I have this guy on the radio? Amanda, I'm sorry. I'm from the country. I work in profanity like an artist works in oils and clay. So Jim blankety-blank Harbaugh would have worked with Russell Wilson, not worked against Russell Wilson. Sean Payton has worked against Russell Wilson from the day he got here. And if that's not a promo, I don't know what the hell is. Jim Harbaugh would have worked with Russ. Sean Payton works against Russ. And it ain't even all about Russ. Again, I don't think Russ is that great. But I think Russ can be special in moments. You can win games with Russ. And if you set up the right players around him, which Jim Harbaugh would have done, you can get quality play out of that guy. And now they're going to discard him because you have to. It's not going to work with Sean Payton. So if you're a Broncos fan out there, first, God bless you. Second, don't ever think that they're going to keep Russell Wilson. Could anything happen? Yes. Could someone at me, bro, on Twitter, the most important thing ever, hey, you said Russell Wilson was gone and they ended up keeping him. Okay, yeah, fine, whatever. But the fact of the matter is, there's about a 99.9% chance that they get rid of him, just cut ties with him, and they might even need all the dead money right now, this year. But this sucks. This sucks even worse than I thought, Harbaugh going to the Chargers. Harbaugh going to the Chargers already sucks. And then when you think about it and how he could have been here and how he would have saved this franchise, he would have drafted J.J. McCarthy. Okay, here's your alternate reality, Broncos country. Harbaugh's your coach. Broncos make a run. This year, 2023, Harbaugh's your coach. 2024, he drafts J.J. McCarthy. You make another run. Oh, Russ falls short. Russ, you lose in the wild card round, right? Okay, you won the divisional round first year, Harbaugh. Things are looking good. What's up? Let's go, Russ. Let's ride, whatever. And then the second year, you lose in the wild card. Russ can't do it. But I got a guy. His name's J.J. McCarthy, and he's been cooking for a year. He's been waiting for a year behind Russ, been learning from Russ. Maybe not all the bad stuff from Russ, okay? and maybe learning how to be real, not like Russ, because Russ is not real. Russ, you got to be real, man. Come on. That's probably my fourth thing I'd tell Russell Wilson. Like, dude, you got to, like, come on. Enough with this. This. Why didn't he say Deadpool blood? Right? I know Wolverine has the healing factor, but so does Deadpool. Anyway. Anyone for tennis? Daffy Duck. Listen, I mean, this could have been right. This could have been right. I mean, it feels in a way like we've moved through time in a way where the Broncos aren't the Broncos. Like, did I shift dimensions? Right? Where's Neil deGrasse Tyson? We need to get him on a hotline, KJ. Neil deGrasse Tyson. Let's talk about this. I mean, we are in a world now where the Broncos are not relevant in the NFL. Harbaugh's taken the spotlight. Chargers they have Herbert. They have Justin Herbert, who is a superstar, who John Elway was, I don't want to say afraid, John, but John was afraid to draft him because he had some pirate. I remember when the Broncos were so mad at us when DeHuff was putting out like the pirate stuff about Paxton, and they're like, hey, we probably shouldn't do that. Like, yeah, maybe we should. How about you guy doesn't play Xbox all the damn time? He's no longer Xbox friends with me. We broke up on Xbox. I'm sorry about that. I'm sorry, Paxton. I'm sorry you couldn't play. I'm sorry you stunk it up on the field. I'm trying not to be personal. I still remember that day I got the phone call from the combine. I'm opinionated and emotional, which is sometimes a bad combination. And I got the phone call from our former program director, Armin. He's like, hey, you're just on with Schlereth and Evans? I was like, yeah. I'm at the combine. It's a great time. He's like, don't call Paxton Lynch a moron. I was like, okay. I'm sorry. I'm emotional. I had the first round grade on the guy. I had a first round grade on Dak Prescott as well. Same draft. Look it up. Anyway, what could have been and how you could have made it work with Russ for a couple of more years, then you would have been out of that big money. You could have moved on to J.J. McCarthy. And then it's Broncos country again. It doesn't feel like it's Broncos country. Not you guys. You guys are awesome, right? You guys are great. You guys are fantastic. And it's like the Walton Penner group is fighting in a reality that seems to have shifted. It's like they're going to get it right. And I'm here to tell you, as I say this is a bad day for the Denver Broncos, I'll tell you what's great. You've got the best ownership in the division. Square biz. Right there. Nothing but the truth. I mean, can't say Hunt family. I know some of the Hunt family, like really good people. I'm going to, genuflect to them. I won't talk trash. Mark Davis, I'm going to talk trash about. He's got to ask the bank for anything. It's kind of the rumor a couple years ago when I was in Vegas for the Shrine game. I had heard Mark Davis can't even he's got to ask the bank if he can get a haircut. I'm like, oh, so he's like most of us in America, a bunch of credit card debt. Anyway, so it's like, okay, you're going to tell me Mark Davis is a better owner? Now, he did make the right decision with Antonio Pierce. I like Antonio, known Antonio for a while now. And the situation is the Spanos family, they're fighting the reputation that they're cheap. This deal for Harbaugh. Did we get money on Harbaugh yet, KJ? Yes, no? Not yet? Okay. So no money yet on Harbaugh. I'm sure it's a lot. 5 years? 5 years? Oh, that's got to be like what? 50 mil? Oh, no. That'd be 100 mil. Let's go 100. Go 100. Let's put a ban on it. They call 34 stacks. They call that Walter Payton. The best ownership resides in Denver. The best ownership is here. The best coach isn't here in the division. You'd have to say that's Andy Reid, right? Reid may retire, whatever is whatever. Antonio Pierce is good, but he hasn't done anything yet. And Jim Harbaugh. Jim Harbaugh is better than Sean Payton. I know Sean Payton's got the hardware. He's got the Super Bowl. Jim Harbaugh does not. But if you look at coaches, all right, now let's go up from that. Who's got the best front office? Kansas City. Brett Veach is one of the best GMs in this league. And I've often said when Scott Pioli took over Kansas City, he fired my buddy Matt Littlefield, who helped build that team with like Jamal Charles and stuff. And Matt never worked in the league again. I always felt bad for Matt that way. I think he's a banker now in Chicago. Anyway, so it's like Scott Pioli came in, just ruined the Chiefs front office. Brett Veach was there. Brett Veach, amazing. I mean, there's nothing. I can't even say a bad thing about Brett Veach. I love him. Not as much as I love Howie Roseman, but still. So, let's go upstairs from that. So your best head coach is in Kansas City. Your best front office is in Kansas City. Your best ownership is in Denver. And one thing I know about life, well, a couple things I know about life. 2 rules. Don't be dumb, don't be a cult. Third thing I know, everything starts at the top. And I'm talking about the fan. I'm talking about Denver sports, right? It all starts at the top. With the Denver Broncos, you know where it starts? It starts at the top. And so while this is a bad day for the Denver Broncos because Jim Harbaugh, the guy they wanted, now works for their division rival with a superstar quarterback, Harbaugh's going to get the best out of Justin Herbert. He's probably going to draft J.J. McCarthy. But it's like, okay, the Broncos are taking L's. They're taking L's. They're catching strays. They don't even know, it's just a regular day at the office. It's like, oh, my God. The Chargers woke up and chose violence. And I've always said, Mr. Harbaugh, maybe KJ, you can help me out. This story would be better if I knew his name. But Jim and John's dad, what's his name? I think it's another J name, isn't it, right? Jim and John and James or whatever. So Jim Harbaugh's dad, when they were growing up, and Jim and John, 2 of the best. Jack. Okay, there. I knew it was another J name. So Jack Harbaugh. Jack Harbaugh, when those boys were little, do you know what he'd tell them? He'd say, and I've said this to my kids when they were growing up, but he would tell them each morning, attack this day with an enthusiasm the world has never known. And I loved it. I stole it. I said it to my kids when they were growing up every day. When I dropped them off at school, hey, remember, attack this day with an enthusiasm the world has never known. KJ, you strike me as someone who does that every day.
Yeah, I try my best to.
You always do. You always do, brother. That's why I appreciate you. It's funny because when Jim and John heard those, John heard enthusiasm because he's such a good man. Jim heard attack because he's violent. Jim Harbaugh, and listen, here's the other thing. Jim Harbaugh ain't here to just make them NFL dollars, baby. Jim Harbaugh ain't in the NFL, as I go all country bumpkin on everybody. Jim Harbaugh is not here to just be like, I'm a coach in the NFL, guys. Jim Harbaugh is here to kick your ass. He is here to crush your bones into dust. That's what he does. That's who he is. So you're telling me this ain't a bad day for the Broncos? This is a really bad day for the Broncos. Because now, instead of he's gotten a regular coach, right? Like, oh, hey, you got Brian Callahan, right? Oh, you got Brian Callahan. Oh, he did some stuff with Joe Burrow and, hey, whatever is whatever. Jake Browning, hey, like this. How about that over there? You got I'm going to quote Bugs Bunny for the millionth time. The Crusher. You got the Crusher over there, Jim Harbaugh. He's going to have that team ready. Chargers choke until Harbaugh. They give him that Heimlich. They ain't never going to do it again. They're going to win. They're going to win a lot. And now you got to face that guy. It's a bad day. Bad day for the Broncos. But I have hope because the ownership, the best ownership in this division, is right here in Denver. I'm sorry, Walton Penner Group, that you inherited this mess. But I believe in Greg Penner. I believe in this Walton Penner Group. I believe they'll get it right, but their job just got tougher today because Jim Harbaugh is the head coach of the Los Angeles Chargers.